This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
I've been waiting for this for a long, long time. It's the wonderful Robin Sharma. So proud and happy to have you here, Robin.
Hrishi, it's awesome to be with you.
Listen, this is a very, very interesting tour for you. Leadership without a title. Delhi's happened. Mumbai's happened. What are the other cities you did right here in India?
You know, those were the two cities in India, but I've been on the road. I think I've done 9 events in 13 days. And we started off in Lagos, Nigeria. We went to Luanda, Angola. We went to Joburg, Cape Town, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and probably another stop or two in there. So it's been a great tour. It's all about this message I've been evangelizing. You can lead without a title. It comes from my new book, The Leader Who Had No Title. And I guess what I'm saying is, you know, if you sweep streets, then sweep streets like Jay-Z does his music. You know, if you serve in a breakfast shop, then serve like Picasso painted. All of us, I guess what I'm suggesting is a job is only just a job if you choose to see it as a job. All work is a chance to express your gifts and your talents. All work is a chance for you to uplift other people. So all work is a chance to change the world.
I was going to ask you, we know what Keith Richards is on, but what are you on? 9 cities, looking fresh as a pea. I've got to tell all you people that he's actually on just plain water. You love your water, don't you?
Yes, I love my water. I throw in some vitamin C. I have some... No, you know what it is? I mean, what fuels me is actually, and I wrote about it in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, the secret of passion is purpose. And if you want to go to someone like the great Mahatma Gandhi, what moved him to achieve his greatness, what fired him up was his vision and his chance to change the world. And I think if we all could reconnect with our goals and our passion and a sense of mission, you know, we'd have all the energy we'd ever need.
You know, we're very, very, very proud of your India connection. Yeah, your surname is Sharma, and you know, everybody here says, man, yeah, he's Canadian, but there are some Indian roots in there. So mom and dad, when did they move to Canada? Was it your grandfather's time or your dad's time?
It's my dad. My dad's actually from Jammu Kashmir.
Wow.
My dad had a profound... I mean, a lot of what I write about is Indian philosophy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember when I grew up, he said something to me using the words of Rabindranath Tagore. He said, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice. I mean, that kind of powerful philosophy really was a brain tattoo for me. So dad's from Jammu Kashmir. My mom's from Nairobi, so the Indian roots. She's of Indian origin as well. And I'm staggeringly proud to be, of Indian origin. It's incredible to me.
And we are too. I tell you what, this man is a total music man. He walks in here and says, what's the song before the Black Eyed Peas? And I go, E17. I'm going to play you a college band who are not together anymore. REM said bye-bye to us, man. Well, that's what nostalgia is all about. The music of REM, the one you love. And of course, the one I love, I beg your pardon. And of course, we're going to have some favorites, some eternal personal favorites of Robin Sharma's also on the show. Don't go anywhere. It's 9:01. My name is Hrishi K, in conversation with the author of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Michael Stipe, Peter Buck, like I said, they're not together anymore. The one I love. Twitter.com/HRISHIKAY. And one space, your question and name to 53650. If you have any questions for Robin Sharma, I'll just open the SMS lines, and Twitter lines are open already. Okay, Julian Mantle, who is the protagonist, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Shades of you? I mean, you're also a lawyer. That's your former life, isn't it?
I used to be a litigation lawyer. I was a lot like Julian Mantle in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I'd had a beautiful office, making a lot of money, wake up every morning, looked in the mirror, completely empty. And I think in many ways, Hrishi, what's the point of being successful in the world but completely empty inside of yourself? And so I went, like Julian Mantle, I went on my own odyssey. You know, I started reading, thinking, going very deep. I sort of rewired the way I was living. I started to look at my life versus society's life, started being a lot more authentic, changed the way I was thinking, changed my whole attitude. Self-published The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari in a 24-hour copy shop. My mom was my editor, my father.
Yeah, I did a Google on that. What was that about? Your mom
edited
your first
it.
book.
So,
How cool is that?
Yeah, my first seminar, 23 people, 21 of those people were my family members, you know. So it started with a dream. People laughed at me. And the fact is, you know, unless you're being laughed at, you're probably not dreaming very big. And people read The Monk, and it became a word-of-mouth phenomenon, and everything flowed from there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. It's been a really fun, fantastic ride.
And every one of your books, when I read the foreword, there's always Bianca and Colby, the little ones. Not little anymore, though, yeah?
Yeah.
Your son and your daughter. Just a little bit about them, please. Yeah.
Well, you know, Colby's 18, Bianca's 16, and I love this mission of growing leaders and inspiring people, helping people remember they were born into genius, don't reside yourself into mediocrity. A lot of people don't have courage anymore, so my job is really to encourage and to uplift, but even more important than this mission of inspiring people around the world, world is my family. And I've seen a lot of people, they're really successful, but they end up alone. And for me, family definitely comes first. I know you cherish your family as well.
Yeah,
and I think I see so many people, they're busy chasing these shiny toys that at the very end of their lives will amount to very little. And, you'll definitely want to put your family right up there, as you know so well. And especially with kids, you have a little window of opportunity. And once it closes, it's really hard to open it up again.
Yeah, they don't want to be with you after a certain.
Well, that's where I'm at right now, I mean,
they couldn't be saying Dad's boring. The whole world finds you exciting.
I don't think, I try to be interesting, but, they want to hang with their friends. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Really, but, I can't believe this. 16 and 18, look like a father of two kids that age. What is it? Is it going to the gym every day, or is it just positive thinking? I mean,
well, it's a lot of the things I write about in The Leader Who Had No Title and in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I mean, I try to get to the gym every single day. When I went for the Mumbai event, I got in from, I think it was Doha or wherever I was, got in at 10 o'clock, and rather than having dinner, I ran down to the gym. Did I feel like hitting the gym? No, but I needed the energy to be of service the next day. So, wow. I mean, I try to do these fundamentals. I get up early, I take time for myself, I spend time alone in this world of dramatic distraction, so I clear my mind. I try to eat less food to get more done. I try to hit the gym, so I maintain that strength. I find time to learn every day. I was thinking today, unless you're taking the time to learn, then you're dying while you're still alive. Because I find victims love entertainment, leaders love education. And you can be so inspired and stay so strong when you fall in love with learning great ideas, whether through books or listening to you or podcasts or all those fun things.
Tell you what, it's not often that I'm left open-mouthed and gaping and I have no reaction. This guy is something else. Robin Sharma in conversation with me. You remember Billy Idol from the 80s with the long punk hairdo?
Oh, I do.
Here she comes now singing Morning Morning.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Robin Sharma, management guru, leadership guru, and the man who wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and a host of other books that were spawned after that. You always talk about the word guru. How it's not so much religious or philosophical, but just insightful. I was reading that in one of your books. Tell us about that.
Well, it's from, as I understand it from Sanskrit, it's the person who brings light. But the first in that chapter, it's from the Greatness Guide. The first chapter of the book says I'm no guru. A lot of people come up to me and they go, Robin, I read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I followed you on Twitter. I went to one of your events. I read The Leader Who Had No Title. You changed my life. And the first thing I look back at them in their eyes and I say, thank you, but you changed your life. Because ideas don't change lives. Execution and action changes lives. And I say, take your power back. You read the books. You had the guts to leave the cult of mediocrity. You had the guts to make the changes. You changed your life.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you say, post reading it, you need to sit down with somebody and actually dispense a bit of that, or what you've imbibed from the book, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think the teacher learns the most.
Oh, that is something I'm going to hang on to, man. The teacher learns the most. But really, Julian Mantle, as a character, you said, there were shades of you and things like that. And him going away, getting the gospel truths, leading so many other people on their path to glory. How many times is it that when you've been at various conferences and people come to you and people say, I'm on the brink of disaster,
right?
Talk about how you pull back people from the brink of disaster, or how one can do that.
Yeah. Well, Hrishi, the number one defining factor of success, according to research, is a word called grit. Grit is simply, it's not intelligence that defines success. It's not where you live. It's not your educational background. It's your grit, your ability to get knocked down, dust off the pain, and get back up. And I guess what I'm suggesting to you is the path of mastery, the path of greatness, the path of living a fantastic life is a path where you're going to endure some suffering. I mean, even the very fact that when you leave the cult of mediocrity and you say, I want to get my health back, I want to be great in my work, I want to have the highest standards, I want to be financially world class, physically world class, I want to go out there and change the world. When you leave the crowd doesn't like it, and you're going to be criticized. And that's why, unless you're being criticized, you're probably not dreaming very big. So it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Listen, this is a big year for you. 10 years of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
True.
And it's what, the 100th reprint, the edition.
Unbelievable.
The story in India about how you got your Indian publisher, everybody is very keen to know that. Tell us about that, please.
Well, again, for all of your listeners, and I know your station is and your show is so unbelievably well listened to, and I just want to congratulate you, Hrishi, for everything and all your success. But I started off from very humble beginnings. It's easy to say, well, you wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. You're cut from a different cloth and you had it lucky. Well, you don't get lucky, you make lucky. And I started off with my first book. I was in Chicago. I was completely unknown. And I had this book called Mega Living, and it was self-published, and it had this cheesy little photograph on the back and a cheesy little title, 30 Days to a Perfect Life. And I actually made 200 covers, poked holes in them, put a rope around one of the covers, put it around my neck, and I stood at the top of the escalator at this book show trying to attract a publisher. And Hrishi Sharma from Jayco, my publisher, walked up the escalator. Security kept on saying, "Get out of here. You can't stand here." But I had a vision, and no one was going to knock me down. And I loved this vision. And Hrishi Sharma said, "What is this, Mega Living?" And they offered me $250. For the first book, and we sold a few copies, and then they said, well, what's this new book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari? I sold it to them, and look what they've done with it here in India and around the world.
We love your books, Robin.
Yeah, I love India too. Thank you.
Huey Lewis in the news. It's the heart of rock and roll, and it's still beating with Robin Sharma at 9:22, absolutely live. Sorry, Krishna Kumar, the couple of things that you've talked to us about, Robin hasn't heard of them. I'm sure I'm going to pass on the blog to him, and maybe he will have a look at that. Okay, here we go. Heart and soul, that's what Robin Sharma is all about. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Leadership Without a Title, the Greatness series. I love all those books, man. And if you haven't picked them up, you ought to now. You have a website, right? Just give it out. Yeah?
RobinSharma.com. And there's lots of videos and audios that'll inspire people. And I'm on Facebook. I love connecting with my readers, and on Twitter. And I adore the social media, and I do it myself. And I read just about everything that comes in.
There is a lovely thing. I was YouTubing you last night. It's a lovely little story of how you took Colby, your son, to New York City. And you've got to tell us about that.
Well, I think at the end of the day, life comes down to the simplest pleasures. And a lot of us get frustrated over big things, but it makes me think of that Persian proverb, I cursed the fact I had no shoes until I saw the man who had no feet. And so I learned so much from my kids, because I think adults are nothing more than deteriorated children. When we were kids, we were open, we had passion, we were authentic, we dreamed, we overcame our fears, and then as we leave the perfection of childhood, we start to close down and become busy being adults. And so Colby and I went to celebrate I think it was his 13th birthday or something like that. And I took him to a great hotel and all these great meals, and I was trying to wow him, and we went to Broadway. And afterwards on the flight home, I said, Colby, this was me and my son celebrating his 13th birthday. A child doesn't become 13 ever again. And I said, what was best about the whole trip? And he goes, Dad, remember those 5 minutes where we ate the hot dog on the street and we were laughing? That's what was best.
That's so beautiful. That is really so beautiful. So what do you do when you have free time in your hands? There is a holy hour, isn't there?
Yeah, the holy hour.
In your life, every single day, that holy hour is something you've got to tell me about.
Well, Hrishi, the 5 a.m. club, I've talked a lot about it in my books, and it's become pretty well known around the world. A lot of people have changed their lives.
I follow that because I'm on the air at 7 in the morning, so I'm that 5 o'clock person.
Well, that's why you look so good too. But it's basically, you get up at 5 o'clock, you win the battle of the bed, you put mind over mattress, right? Because the hours that ordinary people waste, extraordinary people use. So you're up at 5 o'clock, the rest of the world is asleep, and what do? 20 minutes exercising, 20 minutes planning, 20 minutes learning. And you do that every day, even just 5 days a week, and the results that it creates is revolutionary. And another thing I love to do is I love to travel. And my latest book is actually The Secret Letters from the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, which is really these 10 letters that anyone will read. You get these letters, it'll change your life, inspire you at the deepest level. But it's wrapped around this incredible adventure story about some of the best places I've ever been to in my life. And, I don't want to give too much away, but it ends ends in India with this incredible conclusion. But I love to travel because I think that's life's greatest education.
Ending in India means life comes full circle, and you have antecedents in India, so that's almost like your life is coming full circle, right?
Oh,
yeah, beautiful.
It's so true. It's so true.
Okay, I hate doing this, because when I have a guest in studio, I'm always in rapt attention. In between songs is okay, but while you're talking, but I had to do this. While you were talking, I've inserted one of your favorite songs.
Oh, great.
You're a Train fan, and I noticed on your website you love Drops of Jupiter.
I sure do. Phenomenal.
Well, what is it that really touched you about the song?
I just think, you've heard the expression, but music is life's soundtrack. And I just think, there are some songs where you listen to it and it reminds you of a special moment, or it inspires you. When in my difficult times, I've turned to music to lift me back up and keep me going. So I think music has been an incredible tool to keep my head where I want it to be.
I cannot believe that a management leadership guru quotes Dave Matthews, Gravedigger. One of your books has that quote.
I love that. What do you think of that song? Isn't that a phenomenal song?
And it's not even like a top 40 song that radio stations, even in North America, play that much. What a song,
Yeah, that is a great, one of the great songs.
We're talking about Dave Matthews' solo album, Some Devil, his project away from the Dave Matthews Band. And that's one of the quotes in Robin Sharma's books. For now, it's Train. Now she's back in the atmosphere. Drops of Jupiter. Here we go.